address Shri Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha, Advisor Infrastructure, Connectivity and E-Mobility, Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is the apex think tank of the Government of India. Sir has experience of over 30 years in operations, infra-planning, coordination and management at the field and policy-making levels in Indian Railways and considerable success and appreciation. His performance has been recognized and awarded twice at the national level. The National Award for E-Governance 1919-20 for excellence in providing citizen-centric delivery by Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Defences, Government of India, and the National Award for Outstanding Service, Ministry of Railways, Government of India, 2006, and thrice at the Ministry of Railways level. He also served as Dean of the Indian Railway Institute of Transport Management, IRITM, Lucknow, and General Manager, Web Applications at the Center for Railway Information Systems, CRIS. He has training and enrichment from Japan, Railway Management, Malaysia, Advanced Management, Singapore, NSEED, Advanced Management, Germany, UIC, and the US Oracle. He has represented India at multiple international sustainable mobility conferences, Glasgow, London, Amsterdam, Leipzig, and Berlin. An alumnus of St. Stephen's College, Delhi, did his major in history. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I welcome Shri Sudhendu Jyoti Sinha ji for the keynote address.
Good morning. Thanks for such a liberal introduction. At the onset, let me congratulate Rail Analysis lead partners for this particular conclave. And that too, they have chosen the right day when, an hour from now, they would be presenting the budget. And our expectations are that definitely railways are going to be a focus as it has been on the earlier occasions. We are quite aware that government is keen to take railways on the forefront. You have been watching the Honorable Prime Minister saying that railways ought to act as a growth engine to the nation. And not that it is being said only, it is so clearly visible in a number of approvals that are being given from the government side. At Niti Aayog, only a few months back, we cleared almost 434 projects, all bundled together, with allocation of 10 lakh crore rupees. I am sure that it has never been in the 171-year-old history of Indian Railways where in one go, such a massive number of projects are cleared. Not all of them are related to rolling stock, but yes, they do concern the manufacturing, they do concern the project implementation strength of Indian Railways. So practically the energy, the mineral, the port connectivity, the high density corridors, all of them have been, they have been coupled together. If you see the history of Indian Railways, so as a focus, you can think that there are four clear areas. The initial years, when design was that was the ruling kind of, everybody was worried about the design, about the layout, about the alignments. That was the first phase. Subsequently, it was material because to execute that particular thing on the ground, we needed stuff, we needed materials. So all kinds of materials, be it rolling stock, be it small little components, be it the tracks and their fittings. That was the second phase of materials. Third was the labor, that once you have laid it down, it has to be maintained to a class standards, that therefore the labor. And finally now, since last almost maybe 25 to 30 odd years, the focus is purely on technology. So excellence has to be there. So we have to be the world's best. So our railway systems have to be, from safety perspective, it has to be the highest factor of safety and all those things. That is how, technology comes into the being. Number of initiatives have been taken in these, last, if I say, 6-7 years, which can be cited. You are aware, just to list them. I would say that Vande Bharat launch, that is definitely a new area, that is exclusively by the design and by the assembly and the best of the technical know-how that has been brought to the country. Before that, there was another phase where the LHB coaches were there, and now it was the time when it was being indigenized and Vande Bharat came into the being. Rapid rail transport system, its subsequent proliferation into more number of systems that are likely to be positioned there. That is a second big thing that is happening. High-speed rail corridor, inspired by the Shinkansen of Japan, that is the third kind of stream. Gati Shakti model transport terminals, multi-modal transport terminals, that is another that can be cited as a big leap. Railway stations modernizations. Yes, Railways has made a specific commitment that by 2030 they are going to be net zero. And in the rolling stock, in the traction, in the operations, they are almost close to achieving it. Where it is missing out as of now is primarily the stationary areas, the residential buildings, the colonies, the stations, the administrative buildings. It's time that we start having net zero on that. So if Kochi can have an airport which is net zero, it's time that we proliferate and at least to start with 100 kind of stations which we can say that these are 100 best of the stations with net zero. Application of IT, in a big way it is now coming up. Not only IT, but the advanced features into IT. Railways have been the first for the advent of IT into India. This has been one of the signal contribution of Indian Railways. What we could not do in railways was that the growth was not in a consolidated manner. Rather, it was in a leapfrog way from the IT perspective. It's time that we stitch all of them together and take the railways forward. DFC, 2 of them are already positioned, more likely to come. That is another big thing. In addition to that, multiple initiatives that are being launched, small little islands of excellence that are being carved over the country. Now, what is the implication of all these initiatives, allocations, government supports, Niti is thinking through, what all does it employ to us who are here? I would say 2 things. To the manufacturers, you have to strengthen, you have to ramp up your manufacturing capacity in a big way. Of course, not to miss it out, that it has to have a quality, and at the same time, the factor of safety that I never, lose sight of. So the manufacturing capacity has to be built in a big way. At Niti, we are, always looking for suggestions that how precisely this can be ramped up. That is one stream. And the second stream is equally important. How do we strengthen the contractual capacity, the project implementation capacity in India? Because if, let's say, 70,000 kilometers have been built in 171 years, and if we aspire to build a quarter of it in the next 8 to 10 years, this simply means that we need materials and we need, those who can implement it, the labor as well as the machines. So the contractual, how the vendor development programs can be taken forward, how the skilling initiatives can be taken forward. These are some of the challenges. In fact, let me tell you that one of the assignment that is with us is that how to increase the contractual capacity of the country, so that if a railway system is being developed somewhere in European countries, somewhere in US or somewhere elsewhere in other geography, our contractors should be willing and ready to go and at least bid for it. So it should not be only for the indigenous purpose. It should be for a global kind of perspective. Similarly, for the manufacturer also, the products that you bring out, that should have a quality standards, and this is what the national aim is, that we should be gradually converting ourselves into a manufacturing hub for the world. So your products ought to have a quality parameters that they can be taken, they can be accepted, they are one of the objects of desire for the entire global world. So these are the two things precisely which is meant, and at the end I'll again congratulate for organizing this technology conference, and I'm sure that as we have got number of senior railway officers who have been my own mentors into the system, that they will take it forward, and gradually we will ensure that railways, it becomes one of the best in the world, not only in the Indian transport system, but globally also we can take a pride in saying that not only that we have got one of the largest railway system, but it is the safest railway system, and from the quality and excellence perspective, it is simply globally the best. Thank you.